Hey everybody, Bohush here for Fotodioxpro.com. Now, if you spend the amount of time that I do on photo forums, video, Facebook groups, and the like, you've probably seen this new term emerging, the hybrid photographer. That's somebody who's maybe a photographer who's being called on to do video, or vice versa. And one of the burning issues in both the photo and video worlds is using the right light for your project. In photo, the battle rages on between strobes and constant lights when you're shooting stills. In video, of course, you need constant source light all the time. And filmmakers bounce around a lot of ideas discussing which are the best constant lights for their kind of shooting. Now, there is pretty much always going to be a debate in the photo and video communities between shooting with strobes and shooting with constant light. The issue is even more present today since more and more pros are looking to do both still and video work. The thing is, and this is really important to realize, there is no one-size-fits-all lighting solution any more than there is a one-size-fits-all camera. So let's take some time in this video to at least clear up some of the confusion around constant source hybrid lights like these. This is the LED 100 from Fotodiox. Now, I call it a hybrid light because lights like these are closing the gap between what a video light does and what a photo light does. There are features and design choices that make the LED 100 a versatile choice for hybrid shooters, those of us who are working in both stills and video. Now in this video I want to talk about the differences between strobe lights and the LED 100, but first let's take a look and see what's inside this box. Okay, so let's do a quick inventory. Of course, you get the light itself, looks like a strobe. Then this is the powered kind of ballast unit. This also has the fader control, so you can go from 10% up to 100%. What's nice is it's not housed inside the strobe, keeps this a lot lighter, and this connects through this umbilical cable. It's quite long, or some people will clamp this right onto the light stand. Power cord, of course, diffusion sock, and a reflector dish. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about this guy. This is the LED 100 WA. This is the daylight balanced one, but we also offer a tungsten balanced light like this as well. It's shaped like a strobe and it has a Bowens ring on the front for attaching photographic light modifiers. Great for shooting stills, great for shooting video. Now, it's important to note this is not a light panel. There is a single source of light in here behind this glass diffusion. So what you get is a strong single source of light, and it's nice and soft at the same time. Now, of course, this light has all the advantages that LEDs are famous for. It doesn't get hot, so you can handle the light even after it's been on for hours and hours, and it has a very low power draw. You get the equivalent of a 600-watt light, but it's only going to draw a max of 100 watts, which means you can plug this light into any household outlet. Now, despite the shape, the LED 100 is not a strobe light. We borrow the form factor so you can use photo shaping tools that you never could on like a classic tungsten hot light. So let's do a quick rundown of the differences between a true strobe light and an LED constant source light like this one. Okay, first let's start out with cost. Strobe lights have gotten super cheap in recent years. You can get like sub $100 cheapies out there, but you're probably going to want to spend a little more to get a better one. Now, as far as constant source lights, they used to be way more expensive across the board, but a light like the LED 100 is on par with a mid-price strobe. You also save a couple bucks thanks to the light's energy efficiency and not having to cool your studio down as much. Now, if you want to get creative with lighting modifiers, there are tons for strobes. You've got soft boxes and snoots and barn doors and lots more. Back in the world of constant source lights, it used to be that you had a very small selection of lighting modifiers in comparison because the lights were so darn hot. But with a light like the LED 100, you're using literally the same selection of light shaping gear as photographers do, so you can get as creative as you want, and also use gear that you may already have in your studio. Now, light temperature, strobes are in the neighborhood of like 5200K, 5500K. With the LED 100, you can pick a 3200K model or a 5600K model, so you can match into whatever your shooting situation calls for. When you're talking about portability, well, you can always take strobes on the road with you, and there are, kind of battery pack units you can drag along, and that's cool. You can set up a nice looking studio shoot wherever you are. With the LED 100, we don't have a battery option, but the low current draw means you can plug into any household outlet and you don't have to worry about popping a fuse. I can plug a couple of these in at my mom's house and not be too worried about screwing something up. So let's talk shooting style. This is pretty important. With strobes, you require some knowledge and light metering, and there's going to be some trial and error. Now, that's not a criticism. Obviously, tons of people are awesome at shooting with a strobe, and they don't mind that workflow. But constant source lighting is a little bit easier. You've got that what you see is what you get thing going on. And for some of us, it's just easier and faster to set up and shoot photos. And of course, a WYSIWYG workflow is critical if you're going to use constant source lights for shooting video. Speaking of which, shooting video, strobes are going to be no help at all. Whereas constant source lights, again, like the LED 100, are ideally suited for video. So now let's talk about where the differences are really significant. Strobes are all about power. With a strobe, you can overpower ambient lights. I mean, even the sun. You know, you can blow out the background. And the way to think about this is that the entire composition and the lighting scheme is in your control with strobes. You have taken over. You have a lot more flexibility at lower f-stops, and you can freeze action. That's where strobes are going to shine for a long time. Now, with constant source lights, we don't really have the power yet for those high shutter speeds that freeze action in midair. However, don't rule these out for shooting stills. If you're shooting a still life, those fast shutter speeds are a lot less critical. If you're shooting something like food or product stuff on tabletops, the LED 100's low heat means you won't melt or spoil the subject. Also, there's a growing trend right now to shoot headshots under constant source light. It's more comfortable for your subject. There are no squints, blinks, or winks because they get kind of spooked by the flash. And you can keep your studio comfortable and cooler for longer sessions if you want to. So I hope we've established that there is a significant difference between strobes and constant source lights, and one isn't the replacement for the other. Neither is the end-all be-all light for every single shooting situation out there. But I hope that by spelling out some of the advantages of each, you can see where each type of light can fit into your projects. Obviously, there are lots of talented strobe shooters out there, and there always will be. Shooting strobes is a skill, a science, and an art all at once. And if your project demands the amazing stopping power of a strobe light, like capturing a drop of water in midair or something like that, capturing relatively fast motion, strobes are always going to be your best bet. But it is hard to ignore the advantages of having hybrid lights like the LED 100. If you're shooting video, it's a no-brainer. The LED 100 lights are inexpensive. There are lots of less powerful LED panels out there that cost way more and don't have all the versatility of the lighting modifiers you can snap on the front. These lights run cool, which is not only advantageous because you have a more comfortable setup, but that means you don't have to wait as long when you're going to pack up. You don't have to wait for the lights to cool down before you throw them in your bag and skedaddle out of there. When I shoot interviews and I don't have a lot of time to set up, I actually use a couple LED 100s and 48-inch round softboxes, which give me a nice broad soft light that I can set up quickly in the studio, set up quickly on location, and just get shooting a lot faster. The LED 100 is great for still lifes, product shots, and a wide variety of video duties. With constant source light, you get WYSIWYG shooting, a nice blended lighting look, and an easier shoot day overall, whether you're shooting stills, or you're shooting video, or you're shooting both. So as we started out saying, neither strobes nor LEDs are the ultimate one-size-fits-all light for every conceivable shooting situation. However, it's good to know that for hybrid shooters, there are hybrid lights available right now for both photo and video work. One or two of these handy go-to lights in your arsenal are a versatile way to be ready for whatever project comes along. So if you want to learn more about the LED 100, just click on the link down below this video. You'll be taken to a catalog page with all the tech specs and the details about this very versatile light. You can also see some bundle deals where you can bundle in some lighting modifiers or buy two at the same time if you want and get a couple bucks off. And don't forget to click right here to subscribe. You can get more in-depth product videos just like this one. My name's Bahush. Thanks for watching.